Here we go. Zelenskyy striking deep in Russia, hitting Russia's largest and arguably most valuable refinery, the Omsk oil refinery. How deep was Zelenskyy able to hit with the FP-1 Ukrainian drones? About 2,700 kilometers from the front line of the war. Let me repeat that. The Ukrainian firepower FP-1 was able to hit 2,700 kilometers, and it didn't just hit any target. It hit Omsk, the Omsk oil refinery. The plant has a capacity of around 20.5 to 21 million tons of crude oil per year. That's roughly 420,000 barrels per day, accounting for about 8% of Russia's total oil refining volume. How about that? That comes less than 12 hours after Putin hit Kyiv hard, killing over 20 people in Kyiv, hitting surrounding cities as well. We were covering those strikes. Let's just take a look at what was going down here. Take a look at this map. Hat tip to Max26 and the great work Max Nafafella does, really documenting everything. Give him a support. You see right here the map of the Ukrainian drones right there. Just let's use the right lingo right here. You've got the FP-1, that's the Fire Point or Firepower 1 drones. Then you've got the Flamingo, the FP-5s. Those are the ballistics, but these long-range drones, that's the FP-1 that we are seeing right there. Let's take a look at some of the damage these FP-1s did on Omsk. Take a look at this footage right here from Omsk as the FP-1 UAV maneuvers before approaching the target at one of the largest refineries in Russia, as Max26 documents. Let's play it. You can see what the people in Russia, they were shocked. I mean, these FP-1s were hitting, again, 2,700 kilometers or so. Here, play this clip.
Там уже очень много стало. Мам, нахуя не сеешь ты, блядь? Сюда. Да вот упали, в лес. Вот попали. В лес пойдем.
Here's a new video from Omsk as well. Let's play it.
Вот он, весь заводик наш полыхает.
Okay, take a look at the map right here. You'll see its launch point from the front lines. You'll see where it hit Russia right there, 2,700 kilometers. This photo captured it as well. The new version of the FP-1 has a range of up to 3,400 kilometers, according to many. The wing design has also changed visually and now resembles the wing of the An-196 Liatai. You see the first photo here, the new FPI wing. The second photo, FP-1 wing. The third photo, the An-196 Liatai wing right there. You see people over here in Russia, in Omsk, looking out as the refinery was just absolutely obliterated. Take a look at the skies. You'll see these two FP-1 drones moving with this synchronization towards the target in the Omsk area. Play this clip right here.
Пошли.
You'll see over here the drones over Omsk, and you'll see that the Russians were trying to shoot it down, as Max26 puts it, but they've been unable to shoot it down. Here, play this clip. And then closer to Ukraine, you've got Belgorod or so. What's that, like 430 miles away from Russia, from Moscow rather. Take a look at Belgorod right here in Russia after a missile strike by Ukraine. This right here is the Belgorod Linear Production Department of main gas pipelines on fire right there. Let's play it. This other video footage that Max 26 was able to aggregate right here shows the moment of the missile strike on Belgorod right here. Let's play it. More footage from Belgorod. Also, the airport in Belgorod was hit by a missile. After the attack, a fire broke out on the territory of the facility. You can see it right there. I'll just show you some of the B-roll of what went down there. Let me show you more footage of what was taking place. This is what Omsk looked like just a little bit ago. You can see in the background the refinery on fire. Let's show you this. Let's play it.
Все пиздец, до Омска долетели, да? Я, конечно, извиняюсь. Убито за нецензурную брань. Но как еще по-другому сказать?
So that brings a number of these oil refineries that were hit. Take a look. Max 26 did a great compilation from Omsk to Tofo to Moscow. Remember, we covered that a week and a half ago. To the Yaroslavl, the Ryazan, Perm, Kurishi, Volgograd, Novo-Ufimsk, Novgobuskashevsk, Sirzhan, right there. And in the past 24 hours, as Max 26 documents, you have the UAVs hitting the Omsk oil refinery, the FP1s, the FP1s hitting Slavnat-Yanos oil refinery in Yaroslavl. Back in Azva-Kabal, the plant occupied in Berdyansk was attacked. Then we know that Russia launched the attack on Kyiv. The port of Kerch was attacked last night, and locals are reporting a fire in that area. A fire at the Simferopol substation. A fire has been recorded at the Havardaisk Air Base in Crimea. In the Novatek Ust-Luga oil refinery, the Slobodka, and the permanent deployment point of the 26th Missile Brigade. So a lot of, in other words, a lot of activity going down right there. Donald Trump yesterday from the Oval Office said, I think we're getting much closer than people realize to a deal. This was Donald Trump spoke to, remember, it was 48 hours ago. Donald Trump spoke to Putin for 90 minutes on July 4th. Yeah, on America's 250th, Donald Trump spoke to Putin for 90 minutes. And then shortly thereafter, that's when Russia launched its attack on Kyiv after speaking with Donald Trump for 90 minutes. But then Donald Trump says, I think we're getting much closer to a peace deal than people realize. Dude, you said on day one after the election, you knew Zelenskyy so well and you knew Putin so well that you would be able to get a deal done in 24 hours. But like everything, you lie about everything. Here, play this clip.
I think we're getting much closer than people realize. And President Putin wants it to end. I will tell you that very strongly. A good call. And President Zelenskyy actually wants it to end now. And we're going to be going to NATO and we're going to be talking about it. And I think we're going to get it. I think we're going to get it ended. It's been terrible.
Now, here's the message that Zelenskyy posted. He spoke in Ukrainian, so let me just tell you what he wrote and what he said in this video message that he put out recently. All 6 Caliber missiles were shot down last night, and 31 out of 33 cruise missiles were intercepted, meaning whenever the necessary capabilities are available, our warriors in Ukraine deliver truly high interception rates. That is the only explanation for the problem with ballistic missiles. insufficient numbers of interceptors. This is especially true for Patriots. We have proven to all our partners both the need and, more importantly, the possibility of providing greater protection of lives. It is simply nonsensical that in today's world, production has still not been scaled up to the level that is actually needed to protect people from ballistic terror. We have long made the case that we are capable of producing such defensive weapons ourselves. If Ukraine were granted U.S. licenses to produce Patriots, our own production would be sufficient both to protect Ukraine and to help partners in need. We are in contact with everyone around the world who can provide air defense missiles now. This is our top priority. So do you all see what's going on there? So I'm showing you the Ukrainian strikes on Omsk, on Belgorod, in St. Petersburg, I showed you the other day, the FP1s, the FP5s, which are the Flamingo ballistics, the FP1s being the drones. So I'm showing you what's going on the Ukraine side of things. I've showed you the attacks by Putin on Kyiv and Kashan and Zaporizhzhia and all those areas. And what Zelensky's saying is, look, we can shoot down the Shahids, the Russian drones. We can shoot down the ballistics without the Patriots. And here's the thing he's saying, look, it baffles us in Ukraine that the United States, he doesn't say the US, but like, what are you doing? Why aren't you producing ballistics, the interceptors to the ballistics at the rate that's needed? Like, because it's not just us in Ukraine who needs it. It's also Middle East countries. It's also Taiwan. It's also, your supposed allies in Asia, your NATO ally. We all need Patriot interceptors. So what the hell's taking you long? And then Zelensky's basically saying, look, if you're not going to produce it and you're not going to give it to us or you're going to maliciously withhold it, why don't you just give us the license? We'll do it. Just give us the license, the mode and method of production, basically, for the Patriots, and let us cook. Let us do it. We'll do it. And then we'll give it to your partners. We'll make the Patriot interceptors here in Ukraine. If you don't want to give it to us, we can do it at scale. For whatever reason, you can't manufacture these in the United States. We don't know what the hell you're doing. And then how about this? We'll give them to NATO. We'll give them to Middle East countries. We'll give them to countries in Asia that are purportedly your allies. What the hell are you waiting for? That's what he's saying. And then his post before that is he talks about the attack on Kyiv by Putin, where he says Kyiv came under a massive Russian attack. Russia launched 68 missiles and 351 attack drones. Response efforts are still underway. We think the death toll is probably around 20 now. When he posted, it was 11. I think that number is closer to 20. He talks about damage being recorded at 10 locations. In Kyiv, 16 people were injured, 3 people were killed. We know that number is much higher now than when he posted it. A fire is still burning at one of the sites. More than 400 first responders. Our warriors performed well today in intercepting drones and cruise missiles, but unfortunately not the Russian ballistic missiles, and the reason lies with insufficient supply of interceptor missiles. It is critically important that the world, first and foremost, the United States and our European partners, come out of the NATO summit in Ankara with strong decisions to support our air defense and thus the protection of ordinary people's lives. As long as Patriot missiles remain in our allies' stockpiles, Russia is only encouraged to keep vanquishing residential buildings. The United States and Europe have enough strength to stop this terror, he says. And he's talking about the NATO summit in Ankara today. It's in Turkey. We've already seen Netanyahu try to sabotage it. He's been relentlessly attacking Turkey over and over and over again, leading up to this NATO summit, and saying the U.S. shouldn't give Turkey F-35s, and why would you be allying yourself with Turkey? I mean, the thing is, Turkey's hosting the NATO summit. Whatever you're feeling about that is, they're hosting the NATO summit, and this is an important NATO summit if you support the work of NATO. And so undermining the summit is obviously something that Netanyahu wants to do right now. That seems obvious. And Zelensky's saying, look, get your shit together, basically. Excuse my language. Get me the interceptors. Give me the license if you don't want to provide it. And let's go. And then Donald Trump's like, I think we're so close to peace. I think we're so close to peace. And this is what Donald Trump does over and over. We're so close to a deal. They want to make a deal. Iran wants to make a deal. I saved 8 wars. I'm going to go and reverse the red card. And then I'm going to curse the U.S. FIFA team. I don't know why he brought that up, but it's true as well. You said you were going to end the war in 24 hours. You couldn't do it. Then you made all these promises, apparently, to Putin that we're learning about when he went to Anchorage. And then your team had to be like, no, we're not actually doing those things. And Zelensky's not agreeable to giving away eastern Ukraine to Russia. And so here we have it. This is what's going on. Just sharing you what's taking place in the war. And then Donald Trump heads out to the NATO summit. Of course, his human printer and his other people call her something else relating to him and their potential relationship, but she's the human printer. She's there, as Ron Filipkowski says. Natalie Harp is there for her foreign policy expertise. Of course, Melania is not there. Stephen Miller, Stephen Chung are there. Walt Nauta, who was criminally prosecuted with Donald Trump before Eileen Cannon threw the case out, he's there. Monica Crowley, who for some reason is an ambassador. That's what's going on. We'll keep you posted every step of the way, folks. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 7 million subscribers. Thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to add the Midas Touch podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts for new updates every single day.